Welcome back to the channel. So finally have some updates on my motor. It's finished, which is good. So we're gonna head up to the machine shop, which is in Austyy.Paul, and go pick up our engine. All right guys, so I just picked up everything from the machine shop. Everything looks great in this. It's nice and pretty. You got hot tank, so we need to paint this, but crank also fully polished and cleaned, which looks really good. He said everything looked good. All nice and done, cleaned up, pressure tested, and all that. So now that all that's done, now I still have to wait for some parts, like bearings and stuff. Apparently bearings have been back ordered just for the stock bearings. Company, I reached out and asked if they still had any in stock, and they said that they had one box left on the shelf. So went ahead and ordered that so that way it'll get here, and pretty much just waiting on parts for this stuff now. But we are going to make one quick stop on our way back down to visit some friends. Look at this Sentry that he bought. This thing's so sick. So that's my buddy Austy's car, who owns Motorsport Powder Coating, which is just next door. Currently I'm in the new location for Redlands Automotive Repair, which is right next to Redlands Redlands Smog Stop, sorry about that. But new stuff coming in here soon. Tons of bays, like this would almost be perfect if I could afford something like this. Instead of doing it out of my garage. There's tons of space, but you know, is what it is. We'll see what happens later on. But as of now, pretty cool little spot. Oh my God, these are so warm from coming out of the oven. But this is Motorsport Powder Coating. If you guys are interested, like I said, they are out here in Redlands. You just look them up. And I mean, it's kind of hard to miss when Arda drives this thing. You'll see it parked out front. And then Redlands Smog Stop is right there on the end too. All right guys, so just a little stop by, say what's up to the guys, see how the shop's going along. I think my buddy Mitch with the 2002 ended up going back home because his bag kit just got dropped off. So now I'm gonna head back home, see if he's there, and we can go to and unbox that stuff and check it out. So I'll see you there. Okay guys, so fortunately, but unfortunately, Mitch was here, but they only sent the tank. So he already contacted who he ordered this from, and hopefully they should be getting the rest of the parts sent out. But on other news, Mitch also painted his center caps for his wheels, so check this out. So much better. Sorry, the lighting's kind of bad over here, but so much better. You open that tank yet?
Get that brushed.
Oh, sheesh. Dude, set it in there, set it in there. I do the grab. Dude, it's almost perfect, and then we can relocate the battery back here, and like, that should be perfect. It's like just enough room. No, it's not the prettiest, but it's taped off well enough right now. And we'll go ahead and knock all the loose stuff off the edge and pretty much get this prepped and ready to paint as I said earlier, I'm still waiting for parts to show up. I did order the main bearings already, so those should hopefully be here, I think, Thursday. Then we can go ahead and put the crank back in. And here's a better look at it. So here's an S52 crank, dirty, and that I pulled out of my buddy's S52. And this is after it's gotten polished and cleaned. Okay, so side quest, got a little distracted because Landon came over and wanted me to wrap his taillight.
And he did a great job, and he's complaining.
It looks bad.
It looks great.
Here's what they are stock. And then this is what it looks like with this. So, yeah, it doesn't look great.
It looks great. Leave it
There's
alone.
a little fingering stuff up here, so we're gonna fix it another day.
Just finish the other side.
I'm not gonna finish the other side, but anyways, we got the engine on the stand and I've been taping it up, but since I got distracted. All right, it's the next day, and like I was showing yesterday, I was taping up the engine block, and we're gonna go ahead and paint it, might as well, because it doesn't look the prettiest. I mean, the motor did get hot tanked, so I've just been over here using this on the drill to pretty much just like get the surface all knocked down of like the old paint and some rust to clean it up. Now I'm gonna go back through and tape off all these holes so we don't get paint in there. And then, like I said, yeah, I haven't decided yet if I'm just gonna paint over these or if I'm gonna actually like make them silver again. But we'll go ahead and see what's gonna happen. But as of right now, just prepping this thing for paint, and then I do have to install some stuff on the M3, so we will get that moved into here today. All right, so now that the cars are moved, you can see I got the big yellow car back there. I got the E36 in here. So a couple things that need to be addressed still. I'm working on trying to get the adapter that I need to run the 330. So it's an E46 330 6-speed manual transmission. Now those transmissions bolt right up to the same engine. The only problem is that those transmissions are a little bit longer. So they sell an adapter plate that also raises the transmission up, so that way the pitment angle for the drive shaft is correct. So I'm just waiting on that. Like I said, still some other parts, a little bit of an update. Sorry, I know it's mixed up, but this is all taped up. I went ahead and taped off all the freeze plugs. So I just gotta go get paint for that today at some point. We're gonna dig into that. Probably just take the power steering pump off of one of these. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll start by removing most of the intake stuff here. We just did the cooling system, so you don't have to remove any of that to get down past the alternator and the power steering pump. So we'll start removing all this stuff and get it out of there. All right, so to start, hopefully you guys can see where I have that socket at. It's actually an Allen head socket. So that's pretty much, let's see. There you go, now you can see it. So that's the tensioner. So right there is where we can pivot off of to loosen the belt up, so we can take the belt off, so then that way we can start taking off our alternator and then get to our power steering pump. Now, sometimes they have these little caps on them. It's just like a little protective cap. You can just pop it out. As you see, that it's not like super thick. So you just get in there and pop that out. I used one of these guys with the little curved tip and just got it in there and pried it out, so that's out. So now we're going to get a wrench on there and take the tension off the belt and take the belt off. Okay, now I got the belt off, but I figured I might as well jack this thing up so that way it's a lot easier to get into instead of bending over all day and hurting my back. So now that that's up, we can start taking out the stuff from here. I got a little carried away and I ended up deciding to paint my engine block because I found some engine enamel, which, let me see here. I think I have it. Here it is. It's a little on the old side, but it's just the Rust-Oleum's engine enamel. Works pretty good, so You can see on this side. Came out pretty good after I cleaned everything up. So now that just has to sit out here and bake, and then in a few hours, I'll probably pull it back into the garage. All right, so update. Just went ahead and pulled the alternator out of the way. I took it off the bracket, and I went ahead and loosened, you might be able to see in here, I loosened the 2 banjo bolts that are on here and then let them drain into my bucket down here. I'll give you a better look right here. So, there you go. So those are the 2 banjo bolts that you have to pop loose. The bottom one, I think, worked with a 7/8 wrench, and the top one is a 19 millimeter to get those off. Now all we gotta do is get that top bolt off right there, and then we can pull this whole pump unit out and then take the pulley off. Okay guys, so I went ahead and removed the pump that was in the car, which is this one. This is the one that we're going to be switching to. So obviously we have to take off the pulley, swap it onto here. All right guys, so the new pump is on. I got the banjo fittings. I don't know if you can see them, but I got both banjo fittings on now. Now we just have to put the alternator back into place with its 1 long screw or 1 long bolt and the secondary bolt that goes to the idler pulley. So we just gotta throw those back on, put the belt back on, and then we have to check our level for our power steering fluid and bleed our power steering fluid since we just opened up the line. Okay, and also one quick thing when you're installing the idler pulley, there's this little tab right here on the end. Now you gotta make sure you line this up here with the slot that is, sorry that's in the way. There's a slotted groove on here. So you just gotta make sure you line that up before you go ahead and tighten this down all the way. Make sure it stays in place. Alright guys, so I got everything put back together. Everything's tightened down on the power steering, so are the lines, and so is the alternator, and the belt is also back on and fed correctly. I went ahead and threw the intake on just like this, and I did fill up the reservoir for the power steering. Well, first what I'm gonna do is actually turn the key on and rotate the wheel back and forth first, and then we'll go ahead and start the car up and rotate the wheel back and forth. Hopefully this is a good pump. This pump actually came off of my E30 that I had swapped years ago. So I'm hoping it's still a good pump. I don't remember it making noise at that time, but who knows. Like I said, worst case, we're going to find a rebuild kit so I can rebuild that. So that way we have a spare, and maybe this one will be a little bit quieter for the time being. So let's see. So when I did go get this car aligned, the guy pretty much told me if I make an adjustment on one side, it affects the other side, and that there's play in the rack. So eventually soon we will, I do have a spare E36 M3 rack, so when the time comes, we will be swapping out to an E46 M3 rack in this thing, just like I have in the drift car now. And then that should hopefully clean up all of that issue. Okay guys, so pretty simple install. Now I got everything back installed. I did fire up the car, as you saw. Did rotate the wheel back and forth. Only thing left I have to do is check the fluid level in the reservoir. Just make sure that that's topped off. So I do have motor mounts and transmission mounts that are coming for this. They show up, I think, Monday. And now I'm also waiting on bearings and a couple other small things for the engine for this car. So hopefully that stuff comes in soon enough so that way we can start making progress and headway on both of these cars really at this point. So, but thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content. I'll see you later.
Just writing lines cause I feel like a champ. Heavy heavyweight, first place, who could expect to get slapped? I'm on the laps, round the competition, thinking no last. I just laugh, take a sip as I go and sit back. Got the almond in my coffee mixed with toffee, it's packed.